Folks, it is episode 11 of The Breakdown. I am your boy, Wade Plem. I'm here with my co-host, Faze Sensei.
What's
up, brother? Here. So,
what is good?
I'm chilling, man. It's, what are we, about 3 weeks out from our fight?
Yes.
Well, your fight. I shouldn't say our fight. I'm going to be there, but you're fighting.
Wait, you're fighting too?
Your fight is coming up August 27th, but brother, before we do anything else, the people need to do one thing for me. Well, it's really a couple things, but make sure you're subscribed here at the YouTube.
Yes,
we're on the road to 20K. Hit the like button while you're at it. We got some stuff coming.
Milestone.
We got some fun stuff coming on the trip to London that we can't really talk about just yet, but some fun stuff there. If you're listening to this in audio form, make sure you hit that rating and review. Give us 5 stars on the Spotify, 5 stars on the iTunes, all that good stuff. But let's get into things. You just told me off camera you got a dog, bro. You got a dog.
Yeah.
Let's talk about breed. Let's talk about age. Hit me with it.
All right, so it's a German Shepherd mix. We're going to get like a full DNA test, but it's German Shepherd mix, and it's 9 months old.
Bro, my dog, German Shepherd lab mix, 1 year and 3 months old. Let's go. What color is your dog?
Like brown.
It's got the brown black type, like the actual German Shepherd.
Yes.
See, my dog. Yeah. You guys have seen my dog at this point, Bo. Everybody knows Bo. He's the man. Mm-hmm. He's got the lab face with the floppy ears, but he's got the rough hair like a shepherd in the back. You know, like he's got that. It's not like soft hair. He's like horse hair.
Today was day one. I drove to Rhode Island, picked him up, came back.
Okay.
So we met him the other day. He did well. He was really comfortable with me. Then I went to the dojo, and then Alana was with him. And then when I came back, he's like, "Who are you?" Type of thing.
Freaking out. Yeah.
So just getting acclimated. But yeah, we got a whole jungle in here. I got my 2 cats. We separated
cats.
them for the beginning.
That's some king of the jungle shit, bro. Like someone's gonna
walk by the hallway, and they're like,
who is this stranger,
are you, bro? They started doing that,
Right.
So but it's been good. There
you go. Well, listen, man. Speaking of dogs, we almost had one this weekend fighting. Jake Paul was supposed to fight this weekend. We're going to get into everything right now. We got to talk about this. Jake Paul, Hassem Rahman Jr. canceled. It's our lead story, brother. Talk to me about what you think happened here, man.
Listen, I first heard Jake, and I was like, dang. But then I listened to
the other side.
Rahman. Then I listened to Jake again.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you listen to Hassem first and then listen to Jake second, you're like, wait a second, dude.
Right.
It sounds a little off because Hassem was saying that the big thing is that he was saying that he was 230.
Yes. Now here is the issue
right.
So
he's saying, yeah.
Here's the issue with the 230 and with this whole thing. Stuff's come out since I put my video out. There's been so many people with opinions on this. I see it from both sides. I understand, first off, yes, Hassem Rahman was 230. Problem was, and this has come out since, he's admitted to, and his team has admitted to, basically manipulating the scale to make it seem like he was 216 when he sent the video to BJ that ended up getting to the commission so that they would sanction this fight. And there's actually a still shot of one of his cornermen or one of his trainers in the video with the screwdriver, holding it by his side as if they had kind of manipulated the actual scale to read something lighter than what he was actually stepping it on as. So that's what happened from his own mouth. He ran a Twitter space, and I think he even admitted it. So that's tough. But again, I don't blame him. I mean, listen, it's the game, right? It's boxing. I don't blame him for doing everything he could to get this fight. If in his mind he's like, okay, I can lose the weight, right? I can do it. Problem is, then you sign the contract and you have to do it. And that's, I think, where the little funky stuff comes in, where now the commission has to get involved because they think he's 216 at that point. Then he shows up 215. And they're like, hold on a second. You've only lost this 1 pound. We're going to have to start doing these weight checks to make sure you're coming down in weight periodically, right?
Right.
That's when they moved the fight to 205. And then, again, Steven Espinoza even confirmed this on Twitter today. Rahman and his team multiple times didn't even go back and forth with Jake, apparently. Apparently, they stuck on 215, said, we're coming in to weigh in at 215, and we'll take all the fines and penalties. What I said was, problem is you're not fighting a normal guy. You're fighting the actual co-promoter. So it doesn't work that way. He can pull the event at any point, and if he feels he's been slighted, he's gone. It's not like you're forcing Jake to fight because you have the upper hand here. Unfortunately for Hassam Rahman, he didn't have any hand up. There was nothing he had, unfortunately.
He made it seem like he was saying the whole time that they weren't going to make the weight.
That's the thing is, there were so many contradictions.
But you're also saying that you weren't going to make the weight. I don't understand.
That's the thing. There was a lot of contradictions. He was on a podcast 2 days before. And by the way, I'm not like sitting here shitting on Hassam Rahman. I like the guy. He was very cordial to me in our interview. I even like him as a fighter. I think that this was a fun fight. I'm disappointed that it didn't happen. But it's one of those things where it's like you can't really blame Jake for not wanting to fight the guy at 215. And then again, if he weighed 215 on the scale, God forbid, what was he going to, rehydrate to then? We're talking probably a 220 to 225 pound guy when he walks in. His last fight was at 224. There's no shot Jake's getting to 210 to even try to close that gap. So it's like, I can't blame him for being like, no, dude. So it's an unfortunate situation. I think both guys could have done things differently. I think Jake probably should have postponed this thing after the time he pulled out, but I get it. He wanted to put the fight on, but it's hard to ask a heavyweight to come down that quickly, right? It's tough. So it is what it is, man.
What do you think about the fact that he said that he's going to make weight? How does that look?
I don't know what that – I don't understand. Like, even if he makes 205, right, what does that do for him? Because he had an opportunity to make 205. He had an opportunity to sign to make 205. I don't understand what that does.
He made it seem like he still wanted to fight in an opportunity to make the weight, and they're forcing him not to.
This is what I think happened, and this is the back and forth that I got, is that after the fact, right, after Jake canceled this fight, and again, you have Showtime's head of boxing, Steven Espinoza, coming on to say, listen, I was seeing these negotiations. There was no, hey, let's try to meet at 207. Let's try to meet at 209. Rahman's team flat out said, we're not moving from 215. Jake and their team sent a contract for 205 at, I think, 12 that day. Rahman got upset because they pulled out of the fight, or they canceled the fight at 8 p.m. That's 8 hours that they had to look at this contract. Now, granted, they were supposed to give him the full 12, but if a guy is on the other end not budging and saying, no, I'm not moving from 215, I'm not really sure what he thought was going to change in those last 4 hours, right?
Yeah, so Jake is the one who pulled the plug. He didn't.
Jake canceled the event because Rahman would not come down from 215. That he told Rahman Sr. told Jake's team that. Rahman's team told Steven Espinoza that. Apparently, they just weren't moving, and I don't know what they expected to happen in that last 4 hours if they weren't moving. And Jake was
going to make weight now. Yeah,
and after the fact, you do the media, you do the virtual press conference where you're like, I'll make 205 by Friday. Well, again, and I understand it's a negotiation tactic. He wanted to see how much Jake would come up in weight. I don't think he expected Jake to cancel the fight before that 11:59 period, and probably he was going to be like, all right, okay, cool, 205, right? He would have been like, all right, fine. But that's what happens when you gamble with this stuff against the promoter. So if he makes 205 now, if he makes 205 now, I don't really know what it proves, because I agree he could have made 205. I agree that he could have, but you gambled and lost there. So
what an L.
I know.
Jeez.
It's for both guys too, man. Jake lost hundreds of thousands, and people aren't talking about it because people want to shit on Jake, but he lost just to hold the. You heard Dana White say, just to hold the doors or turn the lights on in MSG, you're talking 500 racks gone. I don't know how the deposits work. Like, do you get that back, or I don't know. I don't know how it works at MSG, and that's not including ticket sales that were incomplete or refunds on tickets. Like, I just don't know how much he lost there. Promotional materials with Showtime, all access, gone. But here's the bigger question now. Who do you want to see old Jakey fight next? And I know it's always what's next, but he says he's going to be out for a bit and he's going to kind of sit back for a while. But who do you think is next and makes the most sense to where this stuff doesn't happen again?
Anderson Silva. I'm just kidding. The reason I say Anderson,
I don't mind that, actually.
Because if you listen to what Rahman said he said, I was like, I brought him to spar. I was brought him to spar to help for his fight with Anderson Silva. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So there was.
So I don't know. Again,
he was actually trying to prepare. I was like,
you gotta. It's tough because it's tough because Anderson Silva, I don't know if he was an actual opponent or if that's what BJ and their team told Rahman to get him to come in to give up the get, like, oh, what are you weighing right now? What is this? What is that? And so that he would think, oh, I'm coming in for a spar when they were actually asking him for a fight, you know? So maybe. But I would like to see the Silva fight. I think that would be a tough fight for Jake, a really tough fight for Jake.
Yeah, of course.
But here's another one, and we talked about it a tad bit last podcast. Nate Diaz fights early part of September, and that's his last fight on the contract for the UFC.
That is just banger entertainment right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like the entertainment on that, the content around that press conference, the lead up, the people that would show up to that.
The Nick Diaz army rolls heavy. They got to do it in California, though. They got to do it in California.
Just like the moment of like Nate just being in the ring.
Yeah, Nate doing his thing, throwing his arms out, being like,
and they squaring off.
That's it.
Oh my gosh,
that's money, bro. That is the fight. That like people are like, I want to see Jake fight a boxer. I want to see Jake fight a boxer. But did you guys though? Like really? Did you? Tell me for sure. Would you have paid more? Or would more people have paid for Jake and Rahman Jr. or Tommy Fury than Jake and Nate Diaz? Because I'm going to call bullshit.
Yeah, Nate Diaz is the personality too, man.
Right. It's the perfect fight. Dude. And again, it doesn't really mess with the trajectory of Jake Paul. If people are wanting to see him box a boxer, okay, I get that. But this would still be a step up in competition from Tyron Woodley as far as the hands, the striking ability of Nate Diaz versus Tyron Woodley. Now, power-wise and durability-wise, we're going to see how Nate holds up in this Khamzat Chimaev fight, and if he comes out with all his limbs attached to him. But I do think it's a step up in competition for Jake still. Different, obviously.
Yeah. Nate has come through the traditional boxing game, too. Yeah. So, he was sparring with Andre Ward. He was part of that whole crew. So, he's somebody who knows how to box, not just punch.
Yeah. And it would be fun to see.
Be a better boxing. I think he would strike better in a boxing match than he would in an MMA fight because he always gets frustrated because he gets like leg kicked. Everything else gets in the way. Yep. He's like, I just want to box.
Yeah.
So like the longer rounds, the duration, the higher volume, like his style is more traditional boxing than it is MMA anyways.
Yeah, it would be a fun fight. I mean, because we all look at Nate as being a very durable guy, but Jake hits hard. Nate, I think his endurance would be fun to see against Jake, a guy that really can just be in there for the entirety of the fight, not get tired. A guy we're talking about gas tank for days, running half marathons, triathlon, swimming to freaking what is it? What's the Alcatraz and back? Him and Nick.
Yep.
It's crazy, bro. So that's the fight, in my opinion. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see what Khamzat does to Nate in early September. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like that is an assassination attempt by Dana White, but who knows? But next, we had some other fight cancellations. I don't know what's going on, bro. I don't know what's happening in this YouTube. This is more breaking than the Jake one. I don't know what's happening in YouTube boxing, but whoever has put this curse on us, maybe it's the pro boxing scene. They've taken a hair out of Canelo's head. They've taken I don't know, the meat out of the right hand of Triple G, or who knows? I don't know what's happening. They've made some kind of cauldron and cursed YouTube boxing because we're taking away too many of their numbers, and now we have another fight canceled. Unfortunately, it's on our card, or your card, I should say. Faze Temper and Blueface will no longer be fighting each other after events that happened today. Let's talk about we'll tread lightly here, but let's talk about the events that happened today, and then we'll talk about what exactly is happening with this fight and moving forward what happens. What did you think when you saw the news today of Blueface and his girlfriend in some kind of altercation?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see just until recently, until you mentioned that.
Yeah, I texted you, was like, yeah.
I just saw that it happened. I was just like, oh, okay, that happened, but I didn't think the fight.
By the way, we should say, per Keemstar reported this. We should say that.
Yeah. So I saw the footage, and I thought, like, when I first saw the thumbnail and the title, I was like, the fight's going to be off, right? Because they're like, Blueface gets an altercation, and it looks like he's like ground and pounding. That's what it looks like.
It did, even though he did kind of low-key get like, I'm not trying to make a joke about it, but he got low-key kind of got double-legged, kind of got sandwiched a little bit.
So and then I watched the footage, and I'm like, wait a second, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And then So I was like, oh, okay, it should be good. And then this says,
Yeah.
that, Keemstar had posted that it's over, and I'm like, what, dude? So
Yeah.
for me, it just stinks because I really hope that Temper finds an opponent.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to compete on the same night with him.
Yeah.
And it's such a massive event, it's such a big
It's
opportunity for him. So I'm just like, oh no, it's just
Yeah.
really weird that like Keemstar posted it. They didn't say anything,
Yep.
and Blueface hasn't said anything.
Yeah, and it just happened. I don't know. I mean, you'd
Well,
have
there's
to
no
think.
injuries. I don't know. At least it didn't look like it.
Right. No. I think the only thing
So,
if you like for this event especially, it being KSI with DAZN, you would have to think that DAZN boxing is going to tread lightly when it comes to situations like this. I mean, for one, not that this is the case with this because we really don't know what exactly went down, and it didn't look like Blueface was the aggressor here. It looked like Blueface was more of the defensive kind of get away from me things, but the whole thing hasn't come
on his back foot.
Yeah, he was slipping.
On his back foot
He was slipping.
Time,
he was trying. He was using that frame, trying to get away. We don't exactly know what started this, so I'm not gonna try to pass judgment on it. But if I'm DAZN boxing, boxing domestic kind of issues, they don't go well hand in hand, and it's been a pretty black eye on the sport historically, right?
Yeah, and we talked about this when it comes to like these type of events. They're gonna have a quick trigger. They don't care.
Yeah, and especially we're not talking about guys that are experienced in this scene. And they're like, hold on a second, we were already kind of tentative getting into this to begin with. So I get it on DAZN's side. It's unfortunate if this did happen the way it happened and Blueface was just kind of like not like get away. But it's more unfortunate for Temper, right? You hate it for him because he's doing everything right.
Yeah.
He's preparing like a beast. I'm sure you know more about that than I do, but the sad part is he doesn't have an opponent, and here we are, 3 to 4 weeks out with nothing really for him to do. But let's play matchmaker again. Who do we think can step in on 3 weeks that makes sense for Temper?
Oh my gosh.
I'll give some
Slim?
names, but yeah, Slim.
Slim.
Depending on how his eye's doing.
Austin McBroom.
People were saying Gibb, though. I mean, if Gibb can't get, again, we don't know what's going on with Gibb.
But it was like the whole thing with the medicals being pending.
We don't know what's going on with him. So if he still has medical issues, then obviously not. And if Austin and them still are running a fight in September, again, unless he comes out unscathed, wouldn't make sense for him to do this first, then go fight Austin. So
I did a thing
out of nowhere. Let's go. Yes, dude. I did a thing comes back. Big right hand. Yeah, he's got his khakis on coming.
Khakis and just freaking slamming those
just
hands.
Throwing right, straight right hands. Hey, I'm just saying, it'd be a fun one. Temper would maybe have some trouble with the reach. How about, Dr. Mike's always a guy in the scene I think is gonna, Now here, I can't say where I heard this, but I did hear this. Le'Veon Bell, our boy. Well, I guess, listen, it would be another one that you wouldn't be able to side with because Temper's on yours. But I have heard that he's interested, and it's on Twitter now. He said, I think he added Temper. It said, hey, I heard you're looking for a fight. Here's the thing, though. I know. It's a fun one, but that's a big step up, in my opinion. And not only with the skill, but weight-wise. Le'Veon Bell, I don't know what he weighs, but
what does he weigh?
He's got to be above 200, you would think.
He was just about to fight AP, bro.
So
an absolute unit.
Bro, I'm taking Tommy over AP. I don't give a shit. Fuck it. Give me Tommy knocking out your boy, your childhood hero, AP. Fuck it. No, I don't know, though. That would be a fun one, though. Honestly.
Temper, yeah.
Yeah, no, Temper,
That would be wild.
Yeah, Temper, it's going to be tough, man, because there's so many guys that maybe could do it, maybe not. I've heard a name that some of the people on Twitter are throwing out, JMX. I don't know how in shape and ready he is.
I'm like, wait. I was like, oh, yeah, JMX.
Yeah. He's another big guy, though. Relatively.
JMX would be a good
measure.
Fan base.
UK, exactly.
Yeah, like the height, it all lines up.
Another southpaw, keeping it the same way.
What's with these?
Temper's already trained for one.
Southpaws, huh?
I don't know, bro. Could never be me. I don't know. Get the orthodox back in this bit. No,
Swaggy P. He was supposed to fight Blueface.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! Just stop! Just stop! Can you imagine? Swaggy P's like, I got things to do. Bro, you're in the UK. You got nothing to do.
Pat Ochocinco, you can come through.
Oh, God.
Somebody.
He does have the relationship with the Faze clan, though, you know? I don't know. I don't know if they get set the boy up like that. We saw Chad eat canvas already. I don't want to see it again, dude. I don't want to see it again.
Oh, damn, that's right. That's right. That's right.
It's tough, though, man. I hate like I said, I hate it for temper, but I hope they find someone.
Let me give you this scenario. What if, like, anything happens? Something happens, like Kenny breaks an ankle. Kenny breaks an ankle. Me and Tommy just throwing head guards.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. You guys heard it here first on the breakdown. Sensei calls out temper, says the master will teach the student once again.
Just throwing head guards, 16s, and we just freaking like a hard spar.
Just go for it, bro. Nah,
we still get paid.
I know. I know. Hey, take it. There it is. Make it official. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens because we still have some time. Mams did tweet just a little bit ago. Let me make sure I get the tweet verbatim so I don't butcher it. But it was basically a little tease to say, something's coming. And I'm assuming he's referring to the temper fight. I just don't know exactly. So I would say stay on your toes, folks, because it seems like they already have something in the works. I don't know what. I don't know who. Not going to say they have something confirmed.
Like it would be JMX.
You going to go with that one? I wouldn't doubt it because remember he was talking to be fair, when I said who I wanted to fight and it was JMX in a year or so, like I thought it would be a good matchup as far as size, whatever. He was like, yeah, I'm down to do it, but I want to fight this year too. So there you go.
I just feel like because of like KSI and like they're so connected, like it would be, they could do that overnight.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's the story too because it's KSI's guy, right? He's fought on a KSI undercard before, right? He's a part of that Vidal, Gibb, KSI kind of camp there. And UK fans have been missing him in the ring. I've been saying for a long time he's a guy that deserves another shot because he's one of the better guys in my opinion, like even back then. So, yeah, I think that one makes a lot of sense. If not, give me Le'Veon Bell, huh? Give our boy some shine, man. Co-main event spot?
Beyond.
Come on, bro.
Hey, that's right. It's co-main. I forgot.
Co-main spot. That's a big spot on a KSI card that's probably going to do some numbers, brother. Numbers.
I feel like they would probably go JMX as well. Get him in the co-main.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? You would want to see one of your boys get in there, get some shine. Temper taking on another UK guy. Temper's going to be a UK villain if he goes out and beats, another UK guy like that. He's going to come in and just every time they stick him in there with a UK fan favorite, he just runs through. No, actually, I don't know.
In the comments with me, they like most of them are split. They're like, "Oh man, I love Kenny and Sensei because they've."
I know.
UK loves your boy right here.
You got that UK love, dude. I will say the UK, I fucks with the UK heavy. Love those guys. Speaking of, though, you came back to YouTube with a flurry this week, my man. And it was about the Kenny fights. And by the way, congratulations to you and me for hitting milestones. You just hit 800K.
800.
I just hit 200K. Combined, we won't say, percentages and who has more, but combined, the hosts of the breakdown is now a million view correspondence here. So as the young ones would say, we're clouded up, bro.
Because the views you're pulling right now is like 80-20, so it works.
Dude, you came off the couch, said, let me turn this camera on. Let's see if I can still do this and pull a 500K or probably by the time this thing's out. Gee.
I know.
Crazy. But let's talk about it, man.
When
let's
JJ
talk about
just made the video. I was like, let's go.
Oh, yeah. You saw the green light. You were saying, Now it's time.
I hit him up immediately. I was like, thank you so much, bro. Because I don't know if you saw my story on Instagram.
How
because they haven't sent me Prime. Mams, I sent it. Mams, I need some Prime, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I was doing at Harvard at the football stadium. I'm doing the stairs.
Okay.
On Sunday. Coach is killing me. I'm doing my work, whatever.
Yeah.
All I have is body armor. So it's like I'm dead tired at the end, and I posted on my story and just saying, like, yo, KSI. So this is why you pick Kenny. This is what you're doing. You're setting me up. You're not sending me any Prime. You're trying to make sure that I'm dehydrated and I'm not doing my cardio or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm over here drinking body armor or whatever. So he had replied to it, but when he replied to it on my story, like laughing faces,
Yeah.
I had just rendered the video. So I sent him a snapshot
Oh.
of me like rendering it, like the picture render. I was like, "This is going up tomorrow," and I was like, "Thank you, bro, so much again just for making that video and saying that." And he started dying laughing. He's like, "Oh my god," because the majority of the comments on the YouTube video were about
On
what he
his
said about
video,
me.
yeah. On his video, yeah.
On his video.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh," I knew immediately. I'm like, "This is gonna bang right
Oh
away,
yeah,
bro."
dude. I was okay. So this is my perspective on the whole thing. I was making my Rahman Jake video, but I kept having to go back and like add new things to it, and I was getting so fucking frustrated with it because I was like, "Fuck, okay, here's
Right.
something new coming out." And I looked, and I hadn't looked at YouTube all day, and I post pretty late on the West Coast. It's just because that's the way I do things. I looked, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god, Sensei just broke the fucking internet." Because I looked, I was like, "Man, just pulling how many views in an hour? Holy shit!" It was crazy though.
You think about it, because
Perfect video.
when I've always done videos about JJ, it's always been like even him and me, it's always
Yeah.
been like in support or like in
Yeah.
unison.
This is the flip.
So the fact that we had a little flip there
Yeah.
was great.
Perfect.
I was like, KSI thinks I'm gonna lose. I'm
Perfect.
Like, let's
Perfect
go,
title.
bro.
Perfect thumbnail. You smashed it.
It wasn't even clickbait. It wasn't
No,
even
no,
clickbait,
it's
the fact that it was like true.
It's a sweet spot, man.
Like,
Well, talk to me about it.
so
I watched your video.
yeah.
You were very respectful, very humble, which again, that's just who you are as a person. But
Yeah, always.
What was your thoughts on KSI going that way? Can you understand why he picked that way? Because I can.
Yeah, well, it's funny
I can
because
too.
my previous video.
Yeah.
It's funny because my previous video, I literally explain a little bit of that, like how people like view like my
Yeah.
personality and some of my spars,
Yeah.
how they could view that, right?
Mhm.
So, and then JJ said it, and I was like, well, this is kind of what I already just said, so it does make a lot of sense,
Right.
you know. I can understand like when the points that he made, like make Sensei uncomfortable,
Yep. It's a good point.
right? Push the pace, and in that clip he was showing like the spar with
Sparring.
Gib. Now the spar with Gib is tricky because I wasn't uncomfortable boxing. Like I
Right.
was never like in fear or something.
Right.
You know, or feel like I was getting beat up. I was just literally tired. I was dead tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just exhausted, right?
Right.
So it wasn't like I was like, oh no, I can't find a way out, or he's reading. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? There's
Right.
different.
Right.
There's like that cardio exhaustion fear where it's like,
Mhm.
oh man, I gotta cover up because I can't move.
Yep.
And then obviously my last spar with JJ, I explained too. I was like, okay, he pushed the pace. I was on the back foot. Like the first two spars I had with JJ, that didn't happen, right? I was the one pushing the pace.
Right.
The spars before the last one, right? I was pushing the pace. I was trying to make him uncomfortable. That's like the job that I had, right?
Yeah.
Push him, try to make him uncomfortable, whatever.
Mhm.
So, but like recency bias, you can think since he's going to be on his back foot, you can whatever. I'm like, but that's not like honestly, it's not very easy. It's not easy to do to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like I've made the walk 7 times. In terms of like
by the way,
combined
more
fights.
experience than anybody. I would say, like
Yeah.
over different
So I
sports,
made
but
the walk
still more
7
experience.
times. MMA, kickboxing, and then the one-time boxing, if you
Yeah.
want to count that one, right? With
Yeah.
overflow. Well, only one time was I ever outstruck on the feet,
Yeah.
and that was also JJ was there,
Yeah.
right? So he sees that, but again, in context, kickboxing is very different. Number one,
Very true.
and number two, my opponent was 4-0 as a professional
A Greek kid,
kickboxer,
right?
and he just won 2 professional kickboxing fights that year.
Yeah.
So he was undefeated as a kickboxer, and he had about 10 or 11 amateur fights, and he was a top 3 amateur in Greece. So when I went into that fight, I knew that he was going to be a better kickboxer than me,
Right.
100%. Like I wasn't even competing at the time. That was my pro debut.
Yeah.
I had a couple amateur fights, like which were like smokers, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I knew going into that fight what it was going to be like. Now, mind you, I took shots, dude. I've never been hit as hard as I've been hit in that fight. I was
Yeah.
dropped once, right?
Yep.
I got kicked in the head,
Oh,
but I was still in there third round.
right.
My nose was caved in.
Yeah.
I was still fighting. I
Yeah.
had moments too in the second and the third round. And the liver shot, when he kicked me into the body, I still got up. I thought I was still going to go, and they called it because I didn't step forward. I stepped back instead.
Yeah.
So, but that was still 3 rounds. So I'm like, dude, you have to kick me in the head.
Got to take
Hit me,
shin
knee
bone
me
to
in
the
the head.
forehead, Nate.
Right. Shin bones to the body, chop me down to slow me down. So when you look at it, it's like, oh, he can be slowed down. But this was against somebody who
High level.
was better than me.
High level.
And more experienced than me.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, and what happens when you look at him though, he doesn't look like I look like the better athlete. But we know as fighters that means nothing.
Right.
Right. So, especially when it comes to fight sports, especially striking sports.
Yeah.
So so I can understand JJ's point of view.
Yeah.
You know, because that is the way you look at it for Kenny to beat me, push the pace, pressure.
Yes.
And do that thing. So I totally like what JJ's his point when he's looking.
It's
at
fair.
it from that
It's
point
fair.
Of view, it's fair.
It's fair.
100% fair.
It's fair in what you said. It's fair in the I don't want to say recency bias, but in the what have you done for me lately aspect, right? And it's funny because
Yeah,
you
and it's been a while.
you even
Been years
said
since I've competed.
exactly, and you even said you were like, oh, we could throw the overt flow in there and we can count it if you want, like that. The way you look at that fight and the way other people look at that fight are completely different. You're looking at that like that was probably the easiest night out I've ever had, and people are looking at that like that is Sensei, right? Like they haven't seen the real hard fights that you've had, so it's different. But I respect it, man. I respect his points on it. Let's talk about some of the other picks he had there, because obviously I think he picked the entire card. We can't do temper because reasons, but he did pick Fousey over Deji. What do you think about that? And I'm not asking predictions here from us because we don't really know yet.
Not
but
surprised, because he's, he doesn't mince his words when it comes to Deji.
Yeah.
I can understand because I think, like he wants to be completely honest with him.
Yeah.
Because he felt like people weren't being honest with him. And he's not being honest with himself.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna like sugarcoat it.
Which, I mean, that's been his MO he's been the same way with Deji this entire time. He's never switched up. He's never said, and that's what I respect about when a lot of people were giving him stuff about like how he was treating the Deji. He still is the same way with him. Like that's how you can tell the consistency is like in who he is. That he's the same way. He's still saying, bro, if you're not doing the things, I can't support you doing it again. That's just, I like that.
Deji, I think, has always a habit, it seems like, to underestimate his opponent.
Yeah.
Thinking it's going to be easier than it ends up being.
Do you think he's doing that with Fouz? Even if he's not doing it outwardly, like even if he's not doing the whole like outward thing.
The reason I say no is because of Fousey, how in good shape he is.
I got a story for you too on that when you're done.
Because visually, it does to people who aren't as experienced.
Yeah,
it matters.
Aesthetically,
some people in the fight game that, you know what I mean, like muscles. Okay, cool.
You see it, it's cool.
But like because it shows dedication, it shows hard work. When he sees like Vinny, he's like, oh, he's in shape, but he was just modeling. Oh, Alex Wasabi doesn't have like this giant athletic build. I can take him out. I'm going to be more powerful. But when he sees Fousey, I think the fact that looks like such a better athlete, power, like he looks like he's going to have that.
Yeah,
I think Deji realizes, there's real danger here, and I think he's going to be more prepared. I mean, he's been training. I think in his training, he's taking it more serious, of course.
Yeah,
but I think in the past he's talked like this fight is going to be a cakewalk.
Right. This one you feel like
he's already saying it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
I do believe Deji, really knows that this is the make or break fight for him. Like we've said that before, but honestly, at this point, I feel like it's win or go home. And that may be for both guys. But I will say, I don't know if you saw this, but your boy did roll up to Jackrabbit Boxing in Long Beach and interviewed Fousey and Dean.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was very fun. I think the Dean one will probably will go out probably sooner than Foos. Just we're working on some stuff there, and I can't really talk about what we said there, but I can say what was happening when I got there and when I left. When I got there, rolled up Jackrabbit. Love the gym, by the way. It's a great gym. Ashton Silv, who is signed with MVP, was in there. By the way, Ashton Silv, this is not a joke. I'm just going to describe what happened when I walked in. I walk in the door. I think there were two guys talking about sparring something. I walked in. Ashton, they have a basketball court, like a half court set up in the gym.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, he's shooting. He's just like kind of like lazily kind of just whatever shooting. And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, whatever. Hi, introducing myself, yada, yada. I think I saw Dean introduce myself to Dean. Super nice guy, by the way. Dean, shout out to you. Super nice guy when I was there. I look over, and I was like, man, that's kind of cool. He's got his dogs in here. Like, someone had some pet dogs in the place. And then one of the dogs, or at least what I thought was a dog, started climbing the wall. Legitimately climbing the wall. Like, up a garage door wall. And I look closer, mind you, I have my glasses somewhere over here. Your boy's going blind. Here they are. Your boy's going blind in his old ripe age of 29. So I put my glasses on, and brother, I shit you not, Ashton Silv has a pet monkey. And it was in the gym.
What?
A pet monkey. Diaper and everything on. Climbing up and down the wall.
You heard it here first. Monkeypox came from rabbit boxing.
Jackrabbit boxing. Bro, I could not believe it.
Boxing.
I didn't go anywhere near the monkey. Obviously, it was way further off. But I was like, bro, that's not something you expect. Anyway, Ashton was really cool. It's unfortunate because I was there the day before they were about to leave to go to New York for his fight for Jake's card. So that's unfortunate. But I will say this. When I was leaving, I heard some rumblings about what was about to happen when I was leaving. They were going to go on a run, and I heard that it was going to be a multi-mile run and that Fousey has done up to 10 miles on some of his runs.
Yeah.
And done them continuously.
Because he was running like this before the fight because I think he did a marathon and he was doing some of those runnings.
From everyone, again, I'm not trying to expose any kind of business, whatever. From everybody, shout out to Sensei's pets. Shout out to the cats.
Luna.
Shout out Luna. I have heard from some of the people in there that Fousey has done those consistently and that he gets to the point where other guys just don't want to keep running and Fousey just continues. Like he's just in that great a shape right now. So I understand I understand the reluctance from, Deji to say anything crazy because, this fight is absolutely more serious than anything he's done yet, right? It is because, again, I think it's win or go home for this one. I know it's not a main event. I understand it's not the biggest platform for him, and maybe as far as the event status, but this is the biggest, in my opinion, for him. Win or go home.
I think the win part for me with the influencers, I think is less about the win and more about the performance.
I would agree with you if it wasn't Deji.
If he wins. Yes, but let's say Fousey just ends up we're like, oh damn, Fousey's good here. But it's a split decision. Deji goes toe to toe and he made a lot of improvements.
Yeah. If we see a war,
Wasabi, it wasn't that he lost. He didn't perform well.
Right.
And Deji is not here's the thing with Deji with Jake. No one really harps on that besides the fact that he wasn't in shape because we thought he actually performed pretty well. He performed better than we thought.
That's the thing.
And with Vinny, when Vinny happened, that's when it got real bad because then his performance, we thought, oh, he just fought Jake. He went 5 rounds.
Yep.
If he was in shape, he was going to be fine. And he was in worse shape. So his performance was bad. So even when you look at the Creator Clash.
By the way,
we
have to say this too. Before KSI's fight, Creator Clash, still the only event that's happened this year. Still goated. Still W for us. Awesome.
A lot of those fights, it's you think about the performances by some of the fighters and less oh, this guy came out victorious.
Right.
But Deji hasn't had a great performance.
That's fair.
I think he needs to perform really well. And then obviously if he wins, it's dope. But at least if he because he didn't even attempt to throw his hands against Alex. He was tentative.
Yeah.
Those are the things you can't do. You gotta go for it. Because in fight sports you can win and people will still hate you if the fight doesn't go well.
Yeah, if it's a boring fight, for sure. Yeah. No, I get that. It's tough because, yes, I agree that, and even Deji's fans, like, he's built such an ingrained fan base that it doesn't really matter maybe about the win, more so, like you said, about the performance. I think it just, in the what are we doing here aspect of things, in my head, I'm like, listen, if you love boxing so much, and there are guys that just love it so much that they'll go in there and just continue to compete, win or loss, doesn't matter. I just don't know what that does to a guy, you know, psychologically to even if he works as hard as possible and doesn't come out with that W or doesn't come out looking significantly better, because like you said, it's tough, right? So I don't know. I want, and again, for both guys, by the way, when I met Fousey, super nice guy. I want both guys to show their best. If this is one of those, like you said, like, I don't want to say war, but just a back and forth fight, split decision, very close fight, both guys leave it out there, sure, yeah, I would love to see Deji do it again, win or loss, but it has to be the right fight, like you said,
for the
performance. Yeah.
You've seen fights where the dude's winning and he's put on a performance and then he gets armbarred in the last minute.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he lost, but the dude, you want to see him again.
Right. But even, and the point with that too,
like, I don't know if I want to see him again because he's not going for the win.
Right.
You know?
And the point with that too is the guy that was losing the fight but comes back to get the armbar in your scenario, that guy, it showed heart. Like, he got behind early and then came back. Like, you want to see that. Even if Deji gets behind early, like, stay in the fight, stay mentally locked in, stay ready, like, keep fighting. That's, I think, what everyone wants to see. And like I said, I can't blame KSI for picking Fousey there. He also picked, obviously, Kenny to beat you. I think I agreed with pretty much everything he said on the picks outside of some other things, and then he picked Alex to lose. Obviously, he picked himself to beat Alex. Did you see though?
Right.
That he said, and this is somewhere we'll transition here, but did you see he said he might be interested in a Temper fight if Temper wins? Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, in the video I was like,
that was interesting. That was interesting.
Snap.
Do you think that's more because he wants to fight Temper or because these new belts are being introduced? And what's your opinion on these ICB influencer belts? Because I think we have the same opinion and people aren't going to like it, but you tell me what you think of these belts.
It's kind of weird because I don't want to like it. I know because I'm fighting for one.
Of course, right. And do you know what belt you're fighting for, by the way?
I don't even. Is it ICB? Is it ICB? I think.
Yeah, no.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, bro? If the first one is influencer, I'm not gonna be happy. But anyway,
it is. Bro.
Yeah, obviously it's influencer, right? You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. But what does it stand for?
ICB. I just on their Twitter page it just says ICB. I'm not sure. Let me see.
So we don't know what it stands for?
No, it just says ICB. Influencer Championship Boxing. There we go. Influencer Championship Boxing. Okay, so you are fighting for. Let me get it up here. By the way, you're ranked number 1 in one of these rankings, and I don't know how these rankings are determined.
They had 2 rankings, so there was one with like KSI and Jake and Logan and Temper. They had some people like the top 7.
So here's my thing.
One.
Why?
I was number 1.
You're the number 1 international ranked fighter. How about that? But there's an international ranking, and then there's a world ranking. So I'm confused as to what we're doing here. I'm not trying to...
What the hell?
I'm not trying to... Okay, I understand. Oh, there's a North American ranking as well. Where are you at there? Bro, you're not even on the North American ranked belt, so get fucked, I guess. I don't know.
What do they have you on the UK side?
Yeah, I don't know. They probably got you on the UK side. Can you imagine? So yeah, I don't really know what okay, we'll say this. I understand the want for belts in the influencer boxing scene. I understand that, right? Because you want to know who's the top dog. Here's what it represents. How do we pick the number 1 guy? Pound for pound even. How do we pick him? It's a belt, right? This guy holds the belt. Now we have challengers coming after the guy with the belt. I understand that. You want to mimic somewhat the pro boxing scene. Here is the fucking problem, in my opinion. 1, we have a very, very, very small amount of people to pick from here. And in that already small amount of people to pick from, even fewer are experienced. So even that, we don't have many rankings that we can even go off of based off who beat who. And then the third, the big trifecta here, we only have a certain amount of people at the right weights to be able to rank guys at their weight. So if I think you're better than someone that's a 25er. Are you then number one in the North American International World Rankings and they're number 2 because they look good boxing? I don't. It's tough for me to get on board with these, but I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, it's the. I mean, of course, it's. I understand what they're trying to do, like you said,
and I don't mind it.
But like,
I don't mind that.
Like we're fighting because like I haven't fought. If you're talking about YouTube boxing, influencer
championship boxing.
I haven't fought in how many years?
3.
Right? So I'm like 1-0. Kenny is 0-1, and we're fighting for a belt. So like, yeah, I think he even said the same thing. It's just one of those things. Like I get what they're trying to do.
It's a status symbol.
Then it's like, if you can win it, then it's like, oh, then they want to fight this guy.
Exactly.
Instead of like trying to just pick opponents, you're trying to you pick a target, then you try to defend the belt. You know what I'm saying? Try to get, because that's what KSI said. Like I want to try to get another belt.
Kimbo Slice Jr. is on this list, by the way. Just want to let you know. Kimbo Slice Jr. is on this list. Behind DK Money. So, DK and Kimbo confirmed. But no, I get it. It's a status symbol, right? It's something to, and I still haven't found what you're fighting for. I'm still looking for that one. It's a status symbol. It's something to say, okay.
Like weight? I said it was cruiserweight.
Oh, okay. You're fighting for the international cruiserweight belt? Oh, here we go. Hold on. So, the ICB World Cruiserweight title, sorry, you got left out of this one, big dog. That's between KSI and Alex Wasabi. So, okay. And then
I'm fighting for the international one?
You're fighting for the ICB International Cruiserweight title. So,
so they have two.
There's 2 cruiserweight titles. Now, this is again what I'm talking about as far as like what I don't like about this is that we can't try to be pro boxing. We can't be. It's not going to make sense.
Why would
they
have 2? They should have just one
cruiserweight belt,
at least
1 light heavyweight belt. Honestly, I would say because we're not ever really going to have full on, like I talked about.
It should be like the UFC at least, just one.
One, exactly. If we're gonna do this here, let's lay it out perfect. If we're gonna do this, if we're gonna get belts, and ICB, if you're listening, we laugh because there's some goofy aspects of this, but we actually do respect the idea of having some sort of status symbol. It's just tough when we don't have a lot of people yet, but it will grow. But if we're gonna do this, and hear us out because we have a little experience here. Let's try to make 1 belt per division. And if we need an interim belt because said fighter is not fighting, like let's say KSI wins and wants to go do music, and we need an interim belt because that's what would happen, and then KSI can come back.
Yeah.
But we don't need the international and the.
I laugh at the professional boxing belt system.
Exactly. We laugh at the 2,500 belts per division in pro boxing. And
correct.
So for us, and even the 2,500 divisions in pro boxing. We laugh at that too. We need to have, in our scene, I would say we need to have 5 divisions, maybe 5.
You got to mimic MMA.
Exactly.
UFC clearly has done it the best. They've done it the best.
Exactly. UFC mimicking would make this far more
UFC champions
legitimate.
Are way more accessible. It's so
one
obvious
champ
to know who's a champion.
Exactly.
One champ. It's so they've done it really well.
Because, for example, like the winner of you and Kenny, say you come out of there with the belt, KSI comes out of there with the belt. The idea is, or what he looks at is the light heavyweight belt with Temper. The idea is for him to get 2 belts, right? That's why I think he was interested in the Temper fight. To bring this thing back full circle, I think he's more interested in the 2 belts than Temper.
Correct. That's the thing with boxing. Like you get multiple belts, but it's within the same weight.
Yeah.
Whereas like the UFC, you have 2 belts. That's 2 different weights. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Right.
And
it just.
I think the idea too is that if this guy has a belt and this guy has a belt, we can unify them. But I mean, maybe that makes people more interested. Maybe we're just old school and we're like we want to see cool fights and people need to have that belt to get interested. Like, oh, he's a champion. But in reality, you're a champion after a fight. It doesn't make as much sense as it would for KSI to hold that belt.
The champion versus champion thing has always been weird. It should be champion versus challenger. All the eggs.
I agree.
Everything's on the table.
I agree because it makes more of a compelling matchup to me. A challenger has fought his way to this belt. He didn't just win a fight, got a belt. Right. Now we have to merge them. You know what I mean? There's been some sort of hierarchy, some trajectory in the scene. So.
And
like
it just demeans the belts too, because if
exactly.
the guy, if you think he's not the best and he has a belt, it's like, well, that belt doesn't really mean much anyways.
You devalue the belts the more of them there are, right? So when you
Yeah,
have, and again, this is not like a shit on this, and apparently these are sanctioned by the PBA, which was the same sanctioning body that sanctioned Showstar. So apparently they're sanctioned belts in the UK, but we're not shitting on the idea of this. It just needs to be, you know what I'm saying? Hit the Breakdown LLC line. Hit me and Sensei up. You know what I mean? Bring us in on the sanctioning body. We'll tell you guys, you know what I'm saying, how this needs to be done. You guys cut us a little fee, you know what I'm saying, and we'll go from there. But yes, I like the idea.
World and international. I don't.
It reminds me of pro wrestling belts. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like the WWE belts, not because of like the hokey, but because they do have an intercontinental title with a world title, right? And then they have a North American title, and they have a 24/7. Like there's a bunch of titles that really, again, the more of them there are, the less they all mean, right? So
yeah, because it's more confusing.
Yeah. And speaking of, and we'll move on from this, ICB, like I said, reach out to us. We'll help out. Speaking of the WWE, bro, I don't know if people know this. I'm a big WWE mark. I have been since I was a kid. I don't watch the product as much now, but I love like going back and watching old, like even before Attitude Era stuff. Your boy Logan Paul is now a full-fledged WWE wrestler. Did you get to see what happened with him at SummerSlam over the weekend?
I saw the clips.
What'd you think of that?
He's made for that.
He is made for it.
He's made for it, man.
Oh,
he's killing it. He's killing it. I love it. I love it.
Listen, you won't hear me say a lot of positive things about the Paul brothers just because, you know, I just think sometimes their intentions aren't great with things. But I have to say, Logan in these last 2 years has become a guy that I look at and I'm like, you know, yeah, there's still some things you do that are like, bro, why? But
yeah,
the things that he does outside of YouTube boxing and the way that he markets himself and fucking honestly how talented he is at a lot of different things, you got to give it up to the guy. And I know pro wrestling isn't a actual competition, right? It's predetermined competition. Sorry for those that still believe in Santa Claus. I just pulled the cover off the whole thing. But it is an athletic endeavor, and you saw that. Did you see that frog splash, man? Dives off the turnbuckle into the table, son.
Dude's an animal, man. I was like,
could not believe it.
I mean, I saw the glimpses from his first stint.
Yeah, yeah. When he started, I was like, oh, buddy.
It's dope.
Now, do you know the dynamics between, you obviously know good guys, bad guys, right? I think Logan would be far better as a bad guy or a heel. I think he's far better.
Yes.
Far better. But I don't know if Logan thinks that, though. That's the problem. I think Logan wants to babyface himself and be the good guy, but I think he would be so much better.
Logan, he's like the I don't know.
Oh, give it to me. I need to hear it. Yes.
It's used as a meme all the time, but the guy who's like the evil Superman. You know, who's that guy?
Like Bizarro or whatever?
No. But he's like, it's like a show now. I don't know his name.
Evil Superman? Evil Superman.
Not Superman. He's in the same universe though, and he's. Oh my gosh!
I thought Bizarro was the evil super. Oh, you mean? Are you talking about the Boys? The guy from the Boys? Are you talking about him?
The Boys?
Yeah,
it's
Homelander.
Like a popular show.
Are you talking about Homelander? Yeah, you're talking about Homelander from the Boys. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
The memes and stuff.
The guy that thinks he's a good guy, right? That wants to show everyone he's a good guy, but he's secretly just like, you know, he's just an evil
Logan.
dude. Yeah. Like I agree.
Okay, I mean like evil, but he would play that.
No, yeah, he would play an evil guy that himself is like Superman. You know, look at me.
He's like Jake. It's like they can lean into that.
Yeah,
and you can hate him.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the same formula Jake uses in boxing. Same formula. But Logan, yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I do think he is fully meant for that. I'm jealous because I would love to do that. To be fair, I would love that.
Like John Cena could do that because like he came into that scene only as that character,
right?
So he came in being that character. You know what I'm saying? It's easy just to be like, okay, this is what I see John Cena or somebody who's a wrestler,
right?
Just a wrestler. But since Logan he's Logan Paul there, he can't like just completely flip the act. And since he's already controversial and people already kind of
people want to boo him. People want to boo him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you're not going to be like,
And another thing too, like Logan's a legitimate athlete, right? Like you brought up John Cena. John Cena, you know, he did some football, I think, but one of the more unathletic guys as far as like anything. If you ever watch him like throw worked punches, it looks like dog shit. He's never thrown a punch. Like
bodybuilder.
He's a bodybuilder. And again, nothing wrong with that. For that type of athlete, that's what he is. But Logan's an actual natural athlete, and bringing that build and that size and that athleticism to that, I guess, show, he's going to do very well. I think he just said he signed a multi-year deal too, so he's going to be around for a long time with them. I don't know if we ever see him box again now, to be honest.
Yeah.
A multi-year deal with the WWE.
I think it's just like if you gets the opportunity, I could see him fighting in the UFC if it happens. I could see him.
Well, that's why I say
I can see him like not pursuing something, but if an opportunity arises that like, okay, let's do it. You know?
I would have to see Logan's deal. Like, I'm not going to obviously see his contract, but if they got him on an event deal, that would make sense. The only thing I could see him doing, it seems like he even said he reached out and was trying to get a fight with Dylan Dennis. It seems like that fight, everybody wants a fight with Dylan Dennis for some reason. I don't know why.
And Dylan wants to fight everybody, but never does.
Well, Dylan has these guys wrapped around his finger. I don't know why they give him attention. I don't get it. Like, he obviously doesn't want to fight you guys, so why even entertain it? But we'll see if that happens. But there we are, folks. Episode 11 of The Breakdown. Sensei has a new dog, on his way to a semi-pro title, on his way to an ICB International Light World Heavy Cruiserweight belt as well. Hopefully Temper finds a new opponent. We're getting closer to the fight.
What's going on?
We got to talk to Temper, bro. Well, let's put it out there in the universe. I'm just going to say it out loud. We've been trying to get Temper. We all know Temper is
I know. I saw that he was. I just like that happened. And he was just eating. So I was like, all right, we'll get him.
We'll get him though. Temper, we welcome you on to The Breakdown. Obviously, he's getting ready for his fight, so whenever it's convenient for him. But we're going to get him on here for you guys. We're putting it out there. But for now, make sure you subscribe here at The Breakdown. We're on the road to 20K. At 20K, I think we're going to be doing some training footage breakdowns here live. Live
120K now. Forgot. We can't.
That's right.
Combined.
That's
right.
right.
What are we at right now? What are we at right now?
We're at 15.7, I think. 15.7.
Okay, so 115K.
115K.
1 million. 15,000.
1 million and 15 single K. We're going to get there. Listen, you guys have shown crazy support to this podcast. If you want to keep doing that, make sure you comment, make sure you like, subscribe here at the YouTube. Make sure you're on the audio-only version, giving us that rating and review. Thank you, Sat. I was going to say one more thing. Fuck it. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching The Breakdown, episode 11, and we are out. I will not sit up in the nosebleeds. I will not stop until they know.